Hi, my name is Megan Escobar, and this is my reflection from the Innovative Educator Certification course. This year we started Google Apps for Education, which includes applications like documents, presentations, mail, calendar. All of these items we've used in the classroom for students to work collaboratively together. Part of the Google Apps for Education includes the Google Classroom. This is a central hub for the students to go to see all of their assignments, their due dates, and be able to go back and look at instructions and rubrics. Another use we have is the assessment forms. A lot of times we will use Google Forms for assessment to provide immediate feedback or to come together as a class and bring all of our data together into one spreadsheet. We've also used Google Sites for the students to create e-portfolios, which is a place where they can post all of their work, their thoughts, reflections, and ideas. I also created a shared calendar for students to see learning missions that can extend their knowledge on a subject that we are currently talking about. We also covered learning theories such as behaviorism, cognitivism, and constructivism, and were asked to see which one of those we were currently implementing into the classroom. Throughout the course, we found that a blend of all of them together was the most successful for the students. Although all learning theories are included, my classroom is geared a bit more towards the constructivism side, where the students are experiencing things hands-on, real world, and are allowed to construct their knowledge around those experiences. We then moved on to gamification, which is something I wasn't as familiar with. Gamification sounds just like games. However, it's structuring your classroom based on the way a game is played, by motivational badges, awards, and leaderboards. For each task, students are awarded experience points, which earns them badges. This year I was able to implement a little bit of this, and the students really did seem motivated to be successful and want to push themselves and challenge themselves. From Alice Keeler's blog, I was also able to create a spreadsheet for students to keep their badges. So when they earn a badge, they get a code, they enter that code into their spreadsheet, and then the badge icon appears. Now what we did with that is we took the embed code from the spreadsheet, we posted it onto the students' e-portfolio so that everyone can see all of their badges and share in their successes. The next piece we talked about was video creation. And for me, I had done videos, but not as deeply and integrated them as much as this course went into. The greatest thing I found was that YouTube had capabilities to edit videos. I also found Edpuzzle, and I found it because we tried out Zaption, which is basically a video creation tool where you can insert questions and have the students answer them throughout the video, so it becomes an interactive video. But that unfortunately didn't work with our filters at school. So I tried out Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle is the same idea, where you can ask questions throughout the video, but it also tracks the students and have they completed the video, how much have they completed, or what was their answers to the questions within each video. Edpuzzle is a great tool for the flip teaching module I will go over later. The last tidbit I wanted to share was Screencastify. There are a lot of different screencasting abilities out there, but Screencastify is one that works really well with Chromebooks, and we just received Chromebooks this year, so it was something that I was excited for the students to use. It allows them to create instructional videos as well as talk through a PowerPoint just like they would in an oral presentation, but in this case it would be recorded so they can share it with whomever they like. The next module was about innovative classroom layouts, and as you can see in my before photo, my classroom was pretty tight. So I went from groups of 4 and I changed it into groups of 6. Now I'm not a huge proponent of groups of 6 because they are so large, but I was able to divide them into groups of 3 for projects and labs, which created more space around the room for the students to move. Because of the new layout, I was also able to create learning spaces around the room where students could work collaboratively in groups on projects. Another key idea about innovative learning spaces are whiteboards. Whiteboards allow students to draw, design, and show their work throughout each problem. As you can see here, students were using it to design their balloon car, as well as work out a math problem from our new Common Core math curriculum. Flipped teaching is another module I didn't know much about until this course. Basically, flipped teaching is taking the lecture that you give in class, turning it into a video lesson, and having students watch that at home before they come back to class, and now you have time to do an activity. I was very interested in this topic because of the new next generation science standards, as well as the science and engineering practices. A lot of them require labs and design activities that we don't always find time for inside the classroom. So by taking the lecture home, students are able to come back to school and think about what they learned and be able to ask questions when they need the most help. This has really allowed the students to dive deep into a topic as well as reflect on their learning. There are some new science literacy standards that we can meet because of this new time in class. So the students are able to reflect on their learning after an activity, as well as include the new scientific vocabulary. Along with flipped teaching comes project-based learning. This is an idea where students get a real-world problem, they make it relevant to themselves, and then what they do is they report out the information to make an impact. Through project-based learning, they can make a connection to the real world, connect to experts in the field, and get feedback and be able to present their work globally. Project-based learning really motivates the students and allows them to see how the academics connect to the real world. This module focuses on Web 2.0 tools, which are tools that allow students to connect with one another or collaborate on a project. Some of my favorite Web 2.0 tools are Google Apps, which allow them to collaborate with one another on one project, Socrative, which is an application on an iPad that allows students informal assessment or formal assessment through more of a game-like situation. Khan Academy has great educational videos for the students to review topics that we've covered. The TED videos are really helpful in moving towards the new Common Core Next Generation Science Standards. Kahoot is also an online or mobile device application that is a bit more game-oriented assessment. iMovie allows the students to create and show their own ideas. Canva is a great tool that you can use online or as an application, and basically allows the students to easily format and create infographics or connect pictures with an idea, a great critical thinking tool. The next one is ThingLink, which is also an iPad app that allows the students to take one image and add content to that image by little hotspots that students can press and learn more about what the picture is or the idea. And last but not least is YouTube, which students can create videos or I can create videos and upload them for the curriculum. These tools really help us reach the higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy in the classroom. Within this class, we are able to complete the Leading Edge certification as well, which is the online and blended learning certification. So basically what that is blending online classrooms with face-to-face classrooms. So we're kind of taking the best of both worlds and putting them together for the most success of the student. Within this certification, a few key ideas that I pulled out were rubrics and informal assessments. I haven't spent too much time on rubrics, but from what I can tell and from what I've implemented so far, the students really understand what you're looking for as a teacher or what the objectives are of the lesson if given a rubric. So I definitely will be implementing more of these in the future. Also, whether online or blended, informal assessments are really key to making sure that students are on the right track. So within the week, making sure to check in with the students in some way, either digitally or on paper, to make sure that they really are where they should be to fill in those gaps before they move forward. The online and blended certification also went over accessible materials, making sure that your materials are really accessible to everyone. So whether it's closed captioning on a video or making sure to title correctly your document, or to have alternative text on pictures and links that make sense and isn't just a long trail of numbers and letters. One of the modules covered the SAMR model. So the SAMR model basically is when using technology, what are we using it for? Are we using it to its highest capability? So SAMR stands for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. So the goal is to get your technology from the S and A levels up to the M and R levels. So substitution would be something like using a Google document for students to type something rather than writing it on paper. Augmentation would kind of start pushing it a little bit forward with a little bit more functional improvement, where students, like in a Google Doc, they can do research within that program. Then moving forward to push it to modification, you're really now making it something different. It's a significant task redesign. And then if you want to move it to redefinition, this is something that is previously inconceivable for the students, like creating a video. That really has never been an opportunity for students before all of the technology has come out. So you want to make sure students are using their critical thinking skills and really using the technology to its highest capability. One of the final modules covered mobile devices and its implementation. Some of the things I was able to get out of that module were that in the settings, there are some accessibility options. There are options to make sure the organization of your classroom, how does it function, and how are apps downloaded to each device. Next, we covered applications, and there are so many out there. There are some great ideas and tools listed throughout our websites of all of the applications that we use on a daily basis, or some applications that connect with ideas or topics. From the apps, we moved on to whole classroom implementation and what that looks like. What are the rules for the students? Do they know what they are? What can they download? What can they not? Is it a bring your own device situation, or is it something that the school provides? So just going over all the logistics of having iPads in the classroom. At the end of the course, we were asked to create an innovative education project. Now this can cover a range of ideas, but we've been working on this throughout the entire program. I decided to focus my project on the next generation science standards so we can have some bridge between what we have now and the curriculum that we will get in the future. So the goal here was to create a spreadsheet of all of these standards within the middle school range that have a linked resource activity page for everyone to collaborate on. The original page, the original spreadsheet, is only viewable to everyone, but when you click on the resource link, you are able to comment your own ideas. So the goal here is to make it as collaborative as possible and to help as many teachers out there who are also trying to bridge this gap. Each resource activity page has the listed standard and a title so you can quickly see what the standard is about. It also has a bolded clarification statement of the key ideas, as well as a few ideas of my own that I've learned throughout this course. It also includes linked apps if possible, as well as project-based learning and STEM resources to help you meet those standards. This definitely is a work in progress, but I really hope it can be a great collaborative tool for teachers everywhere to come together and help meet the bridge between what we're doing now and the curriculum that we're receiving in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and a big thank you goes out to our instructor and all the teachers I went through the program with.